Hey everyone, welcome to a deep dive, and today we're going to be tackling Aquarius.
Ooh, Aquarius.
They're known as like the quirky innovators, right?
Right.
The humanitarians.
Right.
But we're going deeper today. We're going way past the surface level
Yeah.
of the actual psychology and behavior of Aquarius.
Okay.
And to help us get there, we've got...
Yes. We've got this awesome source. It's called Psicología y Comportamiento del Signo Acuario.
Okay.
It's an analysis extensivo. Wow, that sounds
Really extensive.
extensive.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a lot to unpack.
Definitely.
Now, even if you think you know Aquarius pretty well,
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I think there's going to be some surprises in here.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They can be a very contradictory sign.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, how so?
Well, for example, they crave like revolutionary change, right?
Okay.
But they're also drawn to structure.
Wait, so they want to like break all the rules, but also kind of like follow them?
Yeah, kind of. That's that duality,
Yeah.
That's what makes them so interesting. I am intrigued.
It is. It's fascinating.
So how does that even work? Like, how can someone be both of those things at the same time?
Well, I think it helps to look at the planetary influences. So Aquarius is actually ruled by two planets.
Two. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Uranus,
Yeah.
which is all about innovation, revolution, breaking free.
I see.
And then you've got Saturn.
Okay.
Saturn is all about structure and discipline.
So it's like that push and pull, right?
Exactly. That's that tension that's always playing out within them.
That's got to create like some kind of interesting dynamic in their mind.
Oh, absolutely. Our source actually describes it as a laboratory of ideas.
A laboratory of ideas. I like that.
It's like their minds are always at work, like brainstorming nonstop.
Yeah.
But they're not just dreamers, right? They're doers, too.
So they take those ideas
And actually make them happen.
So that's probably why we see so many Aquarians in like tech activism.
Oh, for sure. Anything that's kind of pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
They're often way ahead of their time,
Makes sense.
seeing possibilities that other people just don't see.
Like, who comes to mind when you think about that? Like a classic Aquarius.
Well, Oprah, for
Yeah.
one.
Oprah.
Yeah, she totally revolutionized media, right?
Yep.
With her style and the way she connects with people.
She's definitely not afraid to break the mold.
Absolutely not. And that brings us to another biggie with Aquarius, their need for freedom.
Oh, yeah. You can't talk about Aquarius without talking about freedom.
Right. It's not just independence.
It's more than that.
Yeah, it's like this fundamental need for autonomy.
Autonomy. Okay.
And remember, Uranus is their ruler,
Right.
the planet of breaking free.
So they've got that energy like built in.
Yeah, it's in their DNA.
So when you think about like the Aquarians
Yeah.
are they like loners? Or is it more like...
Not necessarily loners,
Okay.
but they definitely need their space,
Okay.
To be themselves, to think their own thoughts.
without feeling pressure?
Exactly. They don't want to conform.
Gotcha. And does that extend to like all their relationships then?
Oh, yeah. Their work, their family, everything.
So it's not that they're like detached or anything?
No, it's more like they just value authenticity,
I can see how that could be tricky though, right?
Oh, definitely.
Especially when it comes to like commitment, expressing their feelings.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay, right.
But first, I want to talk about something our source calls the humanitarian paradox.
The humanitarian paradox. Okay, that sounds kind of ominous.
It's fascinating, actually. See, Aquarians, they care deeply about humanity,
Okay,
about making the world a better place.
that's a good thing.
Right. But expressing those same feelings on a personal level.
Okay, so that's the paradox.
Exactly. They might struggle with that.
So they're like saving the world,
Yeah.
but they can't tell their partner how they feel.
Sometimes, yeah. It's like their focus is always on that big picture.
I see. So they're zoomed out kind of.
Exactly. Looking at the needs of the many rather than the few.
Okay, so if someone's like super passionate about, I don't know, climate change,
Yeah.
but they have trouble like opening up to their best friend,
Right.
could that be an Aquarius thing?
It's possible. It's something to consider anyway.
It's all making sense now, this duality, the need for freedom, the humanitarian paradox.
Right.
It's like we're really starting to get to the core of Aquarius here.
It's complex, but fascinating.
So how does all of this actually play out in like their love lives, their careers, their families?
That's what we're going to dive into next.
All right, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
So we've got the core of Aquarius down, right?
Yeah.
That mix of like innovation and structure,
Yeah.
the freedom thing,
Yeah.
that humanitarian paradox.
It's a lot.
It is. But I'm really curious how this all actually, plays out in their lives. Like, let's talk about love.
Okay, love.
Because if you're looking for like a traditional romantic Aquarius, might not be the first sign that comes to mind.
No, probably not. They're not really about like grand gestures, you know?
So, like roses and candlelight dinners.
Maybe not. They'd much rather have like a deep conversation.
Okay.
Debate philosophy over a cup of coffee.
I can see that, yeah.
It's that intellectual connection they crave.
That makes sense. Given their need for freedom, too.
Right. They don't want to feel suffocated.
But could that make it hard for them to, like, commit?
It can be a struggle, yeah. Traditional relationships, they can feel a little too, I don't know.
Restricting.
Yeah, restricting. They need a partner who gets that.
Okay, someone who's not going to, like, freak out if they need some space.
Exactly. Someone who sees commitment as a choice, not a trap.
I bet that's not easy to find.
It takes a special person, for sure.
But for the right person,
Oh, yeah.
it could be amazing.
Absolutely. Aquarians are fiercely loyal, supportive. They'll always encourage you to be yourself.
It sounds like maybe it's not about changing them.
No.
But finding someone who appreciates those qualities.
Yeah. That's the key. And that same independent spirit, it actually makes them awesome in the workplace, too.
Oh, yeah.
I could see that.
They're not going to be happy in some, like, stuffy corporate job.
No way.
They need innovation, creativity.
Okay, so like startups, tech companies.
Exactly. Anything where they can make a difference, you know?
It's funny because we talked about how Aquarius is ruled by Uranus and Saturn.
Yeah.
Like revolution and structure.
Right.
You wouldn't think that would work in like a traditional workplace.
You'd be surprised. They actually find a way to make it work.
Okay, so they want the freedom to explore, but they also understand
You need some structure to make things happen.
So they're the ones who come up with the crazy ideas, but they can also...
They execute, they get things done.
And they're doing it for a purpose too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Remember that humanitarian side? It comes out big time in their work.
Okay, so they're not just working for the paycheck, they're working to...
Make a difference, to leave their mark on the world.
So we've covered love, we've covered work.
What about family? How does all of this fit into family life?
Family. That's where things can get a little tricky.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Well, Aquarians, they are loyal to their families.
Okay.
But they might not express it in the, typical way.
They're not going to be, like, overly affectionate?
Probably not. Remember, they can struggle with expressing those personal emotions.
Right.
But it doesn't mean they don't feel them.
Okay, so it's more about actions.
Yeah, actions speak louder than words.
So maybe they're not saying, I love you all the time.
Right.
But they're showing up, helping out, being there when you need them.
That's it. Or they might, champion causes that benefit the whole family.
So it's that same, like, individuality purpose, but applied to family.
Exactly. It can cause some bumps along the way, for sure.
Yeah, I bet.
But if everyone can communicate...
And understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, then it can actually be really, really beautiful.
So open communication is key.
Always. But I do want to add, every Aquarius is different.
Of course.
We're talking about general tendencies here.
Right. Astrology isn't about putting people in boxes.
Exactly. So are you ready for the next part? I want to talk about how you can all, tap into that Aquarius energy.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right. So we spent all this time, really getting into the head of an Aquarius.
Right.
Their innovative side, that freedom they crave, their humanitarianism.
Yeah, it's a powerful combination.
But you know what's really cool? Even if you're not an Aquarius.
Yeah.
I feel like we could all use a little bit of that in our lives.
Oh, absolutely. That drive to make the world better.
Right. So how do we do that? How do we tap into that Aquarius energy?
Well, one thing we can learn from them is to challenge assumptions.
Okay.
They're always questioning things, the status quo.
Yeah.
Looking for new ways of doing things.
Like they can just sense when something's not working.
And they're not afraid to shake things up.
Yeah. It's like that quote, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results.
Aquarians, they get that.
They're all about trying new things.
Experimenting. Pushing boundaries.
Even if it means failing.
Exactly. And that's something we can all do,
Yeah, okay, so it doesn't have to be like huge life-altering changes. It can be
all things.
Yeah, like what? Give me an example.
Okay. Maybe you have a conversation with someone you disagree with.
Okay.
But you really listen to them.
Okay.
Instead of just waiting to say your piece. Or maybe you finally start that creative project you've been putting off.
Ooh, I like that.
Even if you're scared.
Yeah, it's about being open.
Yes. open to new experiences.
Perspectives.
Exactly.
And that's something we could all benefit from.
Oh, absolutely. And then there's their authenticity.
Oh, yeah, they're so unapologetically themselves.
It's inspiring, right?
It's like they give everyone else permission to do the same.
Exactly. To just be who you are. Oh.
Without apology.
Yeah, and that can be so powerful.
In a world that's constantly trying to put us in boxes.
Oh, for sure. And we can't forget their humanitarian side.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
They believe in making a difference.
And they actually do it. They're out there marching, volunteering.
Yeah, but I think sometimes people think, oh, I could never do that.
Yeah, it can feel intimidating.
But that's where Aquarius reminds us change starts with the individual.
Okay.
It's about aligning your actions with your values.
So it's like choosing fair trade coffee.
Yeah.
Or reducing your plastic use.
Right. Or just being kind to the people around you.
Those little things add up.
They really do. And Aquarians, they get that.
Something that really stuck with me from our source.
Yeah.
It said that Aquarians, they're visionaries, right?
Always looking ahead.
But they also know the journey matters just as much as the destination.
I like that.
It's about finding joy in the process of creating change.
Not just waiting for the end result.
And that's so important to remember, especially in our world today.
It is. It is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to ask our listeners, where in your life could you use a little Aquarius energy?
That's a good question.
Is it finally starting that project?
Yeah.
Is it speaking up for something you believe in?
Maybe.
Or just being more open-minded?
It could be anything. But whatever it is, embrace it.
Yeah, the world needs your unique voice.
It does. It does.
Your unique perspective.
And maybe, just maybe, a little bit of that Aquarius energy
can help make the world a better place.
Couldn't agree more. And on that note, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Aquarius.
We hope you learned something new.
And that you'll take a little bit of that Aquarius magic with you.
Wherever you go.
Thanks for listening.